Cricket World Radio.
And this is Cricket World Around the World. Welcome to Cricket World Around the World. I'm John Pennington. What a week it's been in the World Cup. It looks as if England are going to scrape through to the quarter-finals, but at the time of recording, the West Indies and India, their fate still to be sealed. Looking forward, of course, to those quarter-finals next week. Plenty of other stuff going on around the world as well. Preparations begin for the Indian Premier League. Also this week, we've heard from John Davison and Shoaib Akhtar. Both of those players deciding they're going to retire after the World Cup. Who knows, we may see some more as the tournament progresses. OK, during the World Cup, I've been catching up with Chetan Narula, who's sort of globe-trotting all around India, covering as many matches as he possibly can. And we're going to start off the show, the latest instalment in the very popular Cricket World at the World Cup podcast. Here is Chetan talking to me after England kept their hopes alive with a fantastic 18-run win over the West Indies. This game was played in Chennai.
Hi, John.
Now, you've seen quite a lot of England this World Cup. You must have been thoroughly entertained throughout.
Well, yes, I think I've seen all their matches except the one they played against Bangladesh in Dhaka. So they lost that one, and not without a fight, of course. I was watching on television as Bangladesh scrambled to a very narrow win there. But besides that, I've been to all of their 5 matches so far, and I can tell you I've been thoroughly entertained. And if there is one team in this World Cup, beyond India, of course, who have enthralled the masses, or beyond Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, we're talking about the hosts, the home fans, not the travelling fans, the home fans, the people living in the subcontinent. That one team has been England, because they've tied their matches, they've lost their matches, they've won their matches from hopeless positions, and they've done it all actually, and they are the ones who are keeping this tournament together. They're making this tournament very, very, very thrilling indeed.
Now, today's game, as far as I could see, really sort of ebbed and flowed. One team was ahead for a bit, then another team bounced back, and finally England with that dramatic finale, West Indies losing 4 wickets for 3 runs. Was it like that?
Well, yes, that was that sort of a wicket here at Chennai. I think it's taking a lot more spin than any other wickets we have seen in India, at least. We know that Bangladesh and Sri Lankan pitches are taking a lot more turn than the Indian pitches. We've seen some very good pitches in Mohali. Even Delhi is not taking that much a turn. Then there have been Nagpur, and there have been Bangalore pitches, or even Mumbai pitches. They're not really taking too much turn. But the Chennai pitch is taking a lot of turn. We saw that in the game against, in England's game against South Africa. 180 odd were defended there. Again, the spinners played a huge role there. So, yes, today also, I think both teams' spinners got into the act. We had a debutant for West Indies, Devendra Bishu, and for England we had Graham Swan and James Treadwell. So, yes, the spinners did very well, and perhaps that was the crux of the game, really. When one team is on top, you had a couple of wickets falling in intervals, bowling changes working for both the captains. So, in the end, yes, that was really the crux of the match. Neither of the side actually really dominated the game, I would say that, and it seesawed right till the end. And as we have discussed earlier, it was one of those classic World Cup games for England, and in the end they just managed to win and get the right result.
And you mentioned Devendra Bishu and James Treadwell there. Luke Wright and Andre Russell making, well, if not their first appearances of the World Cup, not particularly experienced, and yet performing on the big stage. What did you make of their performances?
Well, yes, I think all very important performances by all those players who were making their first appearances in the World Cup. Actually, you have Luke Wright, who rescued England's innings. Actually, his 44 runs, saving them from a sub 200 total to a total which was nearly 250 odd, and in the end 243 proving enough. So it was Luke Wright's 44 that kept their lower order together. Then Tim Brisbane coming up with some very important runs. On the other hand, we had Devendra Bishu and of course Andre Russell, who's already played a couple of games here. So they played well together. They bowled well together. I thought Bishu was an excellent prospect for them. As concerns the leg spin, he got some turn. He got the quicker ones in. He generally had the batsman in trouble. And Andre Russell, what can you say about him? He's been a good find for the West Indies. He can bat, he can bowl. So West Indies having 2 very good young players to look forward to in their future. But then also for England, James Treadwell, he's not had too much cricket in the recent past. He's also come on. He was fresh. Remember, England dropped James Anderson from their attack today. So Treadwell coming in, picking up those 4 wickets. It was important, Andrew Strauss said it was important for the bowlers to pick up wickets because they didn't really have too many runs. West Indies could not be contained. So in that particular aspect, he combined very well with Graham Swan's 3 wickets. And in the end, I thought England applied the pressure more. As we mentioned earlier, they got 3 wickets, last 4 wickets, which is the 3-odd runs in 20 balls. So that was a huge collapse and a very costly collapse for the West Indies.
Absolutely, so that's another sort of brilliant game ticked off on your sort of travel itinerary as you cover the World Cup for us. Where next as we come towards the end of the group stages?
Yes, I'll be here in Chennai for the next couple of days and we'll be waiting for the last group game. That's India versus West Indies on Sunday. West Indies need to win, India need to win, and but we'll be knowing the equations much before. That's on Saturday when Bangladesh play South Africa. Bangladesh need to beat South Africa. So it's all getting very interesting towards the weekend. We also have some crunch matches in the other group. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka tomorrow and Australia versus Pakistan. So we'll be watching that intently. But we'll be talking after the India-West Indies game and after the group stage gets over, and we'll be looking forward towards the quarterfinal lineup. So we'll be talking on Sunday from Chennai itself.
Looking forward to it already, Chetan. Thanks ever so much for catching up with us again.
Right, thanks John, bye.
Chetan Narula talking to you there from Chennai, in fact, and you can keep up with the Cricket World at the World Cup podcast via iTunes. Plenty more going on this week on the website, for example. Look out for interviews with Matthew Hoggard and Issa Gur, along with others. We've got a free iPhone app we've just had developed, ready in time for the World Cup quarterfinals. Have a look at that. Also got the mobile website up and going, so you really can keep up with Cricket World wherever you are. Time now to finish the show, however, with this week's edition of the ICC Cricket World Radio Show. Niall O'Brien was actually speaking to the ICC Cricket World team before Ireland's game with the Netherlands. He was saying here that they think they could win, and of course they went on to do so.
It's been yet another week of impressive performances at the 2011 ICC Cricket World Cup as we now approach the business end of the tournament. And we're back with yet another power-packed episode of ICC Cricket World. I'm Moushami Dutt, and we've got lots lined up for you in the next 15 minutes. On the show this week, we'll chat with former Zimbabwean cricketer and now commentator Pommy Mbangwa on South Africa's win against Ireland earlier this week and the road ahead for the Proteas. We'll also chat with Canada's John Davison on his retirement from international cricket. And we'll have Ireland's Niall O'Brien sharing with us his thoughts on playing alongside his brother Kevin and Ireland's last World Cup game tomorrow in Kolkata. Now the action in Group B has kept everyone on tenterhooks, with the points table still carrying a sense of unpredictability about who finishes where at the end of the group stage. South Africa, meanwhile, have been ticking one box at a time with a very solid performance and have secured a place in the quarterfinals. They took on Ireland earlier this week and beat them by a comprehensive 131-run margin. JP Duminy was adjudged the man of the match for his innings of 99 and picking up a wicket. And I caught up with former Zimbabwean pace bowler and now commentator Pommy Mbangwa on his thoughts about what this team now needs to do to go all the way in the 2011 ICC World Cup.
Pommy, South Africa win by 131 runs. But would you call it a convincing victory?
I think you don't get any more convincing as far as the margin of victory is concerned. 272, and by the way that South Africa batted, you'd say it wasn't a particularly easy wicket, because if it was, they would have expected to get to 280, 290, perhaps even 300 and get there easily. But you see the way they went about things and the way things panned out in the end. They lost wickets up front. Ireland would have felt in the game when they were taking wickets early. I think it was 115 for 4, maybe 117 for 4 South Africa were. So it needed a really good innings in the middle to get to 272. Duminy provided that. Colin Ingram as well coming into the side, and he hasn't played all through the tournament, and coming in, having been sitting out all the time, is pretty difficult, and he did that quite well. Gets his 43 runs, and in that partnership really gets South Africa very close to that 270. And Botha again, after doing well against India, yes, he got out towards the end against India, but here not out, 21, and in partnership with JP Duminy. I thought Duminy deserved 100. It's a pity he didn't get the selfless act, I suppose. Many would have just nudged it into the onside and got one.
Let's talk about the batting. There is some concern, and it's been, over the last few matches, that the top order isn't firing to the extent that they should be.
Yeah, I think it's a fair concern because they haven't got as many runs as they would like. But it's not all of them I think they're worried about. I mean, Hashim Amla's got 100 in the tournament already. You look at Graham Smith, he's spent some time out in the middle. I think he's struggling for timing and perhaps a bit of form. Jacques Kallis, I think, will be a worry, but his 60 against India was crucial, so they'll feel that's a performance. And for Graham Smith, I reckon that partnership he had with Hashim Amla, I think it was at Mohali against the Netherlands, they'll be happy with that. At least there was some time spent in the middle. However, in cricket they say that if you're struggling for runs, the longer you struggle, the closer you are to a big innings. So it's just around the corner, and I think South Africa will want it to be a case of the top 4 clicking at just the right time in the big games. They're now into the quarters. They'll play one game against Bangladesh, and then it'll be 3 games they want to play and have that top 4 do well. That way, that ever elusive ICC trophy can be in their hands.
Well, we're looking forward, obviously, because they have qualified into the quarterfinals. Do you think there are teams they should avoid, or they should finish on a certain level where they need to avoid certain teams in the next group?
You just want to win the games you play. I think if you go out and you try and manufacture who you want to play against, once you're in the quarters, whoever it is you play against can beat you as well. So it's not going to matter to them who they play. It's not going to be a case of we're going to try and avoid this lot or we're going to try and make sure you play that lot. No, you can't manufacture that, and you don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the group or in the other group for whoever to end where. So no, just play the game, win it if you can. If you lose, but that's just how it is.
Finally, if there was something they needed to improve on, do you think there's something they need to improve on?
I think it's very difficult for teams to play the perfect game. I think everyone strives when you start a match, you want to play the perfect game. And South Africa will be no different to India, will be no different to Australia, will be no different to Sri Lanka and Pakistan and New Zealand, whoever you want to name. And you can look at every game you play and say that didn't go well. So for South Africa, for instance, today they'll say, oh, the top 4 shouldn't have got the team into that situation or left the team in that situation. That's the one thing that was wrong with the game. The second half of the batting was brilliant. They did really well. And then the second half of the match itself, the bowling was outstanding again, bowled out another team. So that's 3/4 right, or perhaps I could say more than 3/4, 2/3, if that's more than 3/4. Yeah, it's sort of 2/3 right, and there's just a third there they're trying to fix. However, if you're getting the game 2/3 right and winning, you're happy with that. You're not going to, I mean, the issue is winning. You want to win the game, so that's fine.
Yes, South Africa do look like a team with all the necessary ingredients to go all the way in this tournament. While the Proteas will look to cruise along the 2011 World Cup journey, there's someone who has called it a day in international cricket. Canada's John Davison played his final international game when his team took on Australia in their final Group A game in Bangalore. The 40-year-old has represented Canada in 3 World Cups and is by far the best cricketer to have represented his country. He averages 34.11 in World Cup matches at a strike rate of 115.84. And he also has 31 ODI wickets to his name. Our correspondent Christy Simpson caught up with John Davison at the end of the game and got him talking on his retirement and a lot more. Have a listen.
It's the end of the road for John Davison in cricket, in the World Cup for Canada. You've got a lot of emotions. Which one is uppermost in your mind?
I suppose when I was out fielding, I really thought I really enjoyed being out here and just being able to compete against the best in the world and on the world stage and play on the best grounds in the world. And it's been a great experience and a wonderful journey.
You spent almost all your life in Australia. The irony that you play against them in your last game.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fitting. You know, I've worked with a lot of the guys and played with a lot of the guys as well, the older guys. And yeah, it was an enjoyable way to go out.
And what now for you?
Back to work on Monday, work at the Centre of Excellence. So the next cream of Australian cricket comes through starting in May, and we've got them for 16 weeks, and come back to India during that and have fun with those guys.
You've worked with a couple of spinners in the Australian team. You saw them firsthand today. How were they?
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to face them, but I think they both bowled pretty well. Fraser was looking as though he was getting some turn and bounce out of a wicket that I didn't get too much turn and bounce out of, so he's obviously going better than me. So yeah, all the best to those guys, and I hope they do well for the rest of the tournament.
It looked like when you were batting today, you were hitting it well.
Yeah, it was probably the first time that I felt... last innings against New Zealand, I started to feel a little bit comfortable at the crease, and as long as I pitched in my half, I was all right. If I was in their half, I was struggling a little bit.
Is that where you start the regrets, thinking, wow, I'm starting to hit it well, should I carry on for a bit longer?
No, I don't think so. I think, I've got a young family, and the golf course is beckoning also, so it'd be good to spend some time with the kids and my wife and a little bit of time on the golf course.
Obviously, the thing that most people remember about your career is that wonderful innings back in 2003. Is that what you remember as the greatest moment of your career?
As an individual, I suppose, but I'd rather look back at team victories and beating Bangladesh in the World Cup in our first game in 2003 was the highlight of that particular tournament for me, and then to win again against Kenya in a pretty professional manner was pretty satisfying as well. When you were a child and a teenager, what were your dreams about world cricket and what you do in it? Look, I always wanted to play for Australia, there's no doubt about that. I suppose playing for Canada gave me the opportunity to test my skills at the best level, and I'm lucky enough to be coaching for Cricket Australia and rolling up to work and enjoying what I do. Do you think that the Associate Nations have done themselves proud in this World Cup? Oh, at times I think they definitely have. Ireland, I think everyone's jumped on board with Ireland, the way they've played with great passion and belief, and that never say die attitude. And I think if all the associates could learn from the way they play, I think we'd be a lot better off. They of course have quite a lot of cash. They get a lot of good first-class games. They play good nations. Do you need some more help in Canada from the West Indies? Yeah, I've spoken to Richard Dunn at length about this sort of stuff, and the Irish having those six guys that play county cricket or have county and international experience for England, it makes a massive difference to the professionalism of their team. But I don't know what the answer is for Canada in particular. ICC will have to look into that. I'm sort of done with that now, so I'll leave it up to them to work out the best way to go about it. Obviously in 100 overs Australia were the better side, but there was a moment early on with a 19-year-old opening bat where you just thought, that's unbelievable talent. Yeah, and that's the thing, I know people talk about the associates not competing at the World Cups, but when you see a kid like that come out, you think, well, why shouldn't he get the opportunity to show his talent to the world? You've showed your talent to the world. Thank you very much, John Davison. Good on you. Thanks, I've enjoyed it.
Well, here's wishing him lots of luck for his life ahead. The action continues at the ICC World Cup 2011, and the Eden Gardens in Kolkata will host a contest between Ireland and Netherlands tomorrow. I caught up with Irish wicketkeeper and middle-order batsman and one half of the O'Brien brothers duo. Joining me right now is Niall O'Brien, the older of the two O'Brien brothers. So Niall, does being older mean being more sensible?
I think, yeah, you should be more sensible, but I think Kevin's got a lot more common sense than me, so I'm a bit of a clown and a bit of a joker, so I think I'm older, but I'm not necessarily wiser.
And what do you think it's like playing with your brother in the Ireland cricket team?
Oh, it's fantastic. There's 2 or 3 sets of brothers around in world cricket, the Morkel brothers, McCullum brothers, and there is it's great to have your sibling in the team. When things are going well, it's nice to have your brother to lean on, and also when things aren't going so well, it's nice to have your brother there to a bit of support. You can sometimes maybe tell him things that you might not feel comfortable telling other people. So fantastic, and as long as we're both being successful, either one of us, we're all very happy.
Who got into cricket first and why?
Oh, well, I think I played cricket before Kev, just primarily because I'm a couple of years older, but we both played since we were kids down at Railway Union Cricket Club in Sandymount, and just basically through my father, who played cricket for Ireland as well, and he's been getting great press coverage over here in India as well, so my mum and dad are little celebrities in India now, so just through my dad and my whole family. I've got 3 other brothers and a sister, so we all just play cricket every day.
Well, interestingly, you bring up family. What happens, for example, if you do well and Kevin does badly? What kind of reactions do you get from the family?
I think they're just happy if the team is winning first and foremost. That is the most important thing. But as long as one of us does okay, I think they're quite happy. You know, my mum and dad, they have to share jerseys. Like, one wears my jersey, one wears Kevin's jersey, and they have to switch around. So no, they're both generally very happy if both of us do very well. But as long as the team's doing well, it's the most important thing. And you know, so far they've had plenty to cheer over this trip.
Are you guys competitive in the team? Do you sort of go and say who can score more?
I think we are quite competitive people. Yeah, we're very different people, and you know, we're very different types of cricketers. I'd love to be able to do some of the things Kev's able to do, hitting the ball 102 metres. That's not what I can do. I've got other skills, and I'm sure I've got skills that he would love to adapt to his game. So we are very competitive, but you know, we're very good friends, and you know, it's great to have him on my team. And I've been playing cricket with him since I was probably 5 or 6 years of age. So he's just one of my best friends, really.
Let's talk about the game tomorrow. You're playing Netherlands. It's your last game of the World Cup. What is the aim to finish this tournament with?
Well, yeah, we have to finish with another win. You know, if we don't win tomorrow, it'll be disappointing. I think, you know, on paper we're a stronger team than Holland, but as we've seen in this World Cup, you don't play on paper, so we're going to have to play really well. And you know, the Dutch are going to be able to take us down as well. So yeah, it's important we turn up and play as well as we can do. And if we do that and focus hard enough and focus on the right things and not worry about the result, just do the process, we should get the right victory. And at the end of the day, two World Cup victories out of 6 wouldn't be a bad effort.
Well, you've played in Eden Gardens, obviously, the last game against South Africa. What were the lessons learnt from that game, coming into the Netherlands game?
Well, yeah, the wicket was quite a different wicket than most of India, so we got adapted the wicket quite quickly. We didn't adapt quick enough with the bat, I thought, against South Africa, and you know, myself and some of the top order didn't play as well as we could have played. So we need to bat some time and just enjoy the surroundings, really, because it's a fantastic setup, and you know, the fans are so passionate. So it'll be interesting to see how many people come tomorrow, because there's a great crowd here on Tuesday. So hopefully they'll come out tomorrow and support Ireland again.
What will you take away from this World Cup?
I'll just take away the people. You know, the people of India. Absolutely fantastic people. I love touring India. It's my favourite place to come in the world, and you know, I come every year if possible for cricket. So I think everyone's been so kind to us. We've had so many wishes of good luck from all the locals, every city we've been to, and I think we've won the hearts of the Indian people, and we just can't wait to come back.
Well, big celebrations in Ireland when you beat England. Today's St. Patrick's Day. You're going to make it a 2-day party?
We'd like to, but we're not allowed. You know, we're not allowed to have any alcohol the day before a match. So we'll sacrifice one dry St. Patrick's Day for a big couple of days after the Halloween.
Good luck to the O'Briens tomorrow. And with that, it's time for us to now give you a quick wrap of all that's happening on the Reliance Mobile ICC rankings. South Africa's thrilling 3-wicket victory over India in a Group B match in Nagpur in the ICC Cricket World Cup 2011 has helped them join India on 118 ratings points in the Reliance ICC ODI Championship. South Africa leapfrogged Sri Lanka, which is just 1 point behind, in 4th position. Australia continues to dominate the table, sitting pretty on 131 ratings points. In the Reliance Player ICC rankings for ODI batsmen, South Africa's Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers continue to occupy the top 2 positions, while Australia's Michael Hussey has moved into 3rd, swapping place with India's Virat Kohli, who slipped into 4th. In the Reliance ICC Player rankings for ODI bowlers, South Africa's Dale Steyn has achieved a career best ranking. He's jumped 5 places to 3rd position after a splendid figures of 5 for 50 against India in Nagpur last Saturday, which later earned him the Man of the Match award. England's Graeme Swann has also improved his rankings and is now in 4th position, while Australia's fast bowler Mitchell Johnson is on a charge, vaulting 11 places to 6th spot. There is no change in the top 4 of the Reliance ICC Player rankings for ODI all-rounders, with Shakib Al Hasan still leading the field. Lots more big performances expected as we approach the business end of the tournament, and we'll keep an eye on all the ups and downs on the Reliance Mobile ICC rankings table. With that, we've come to an end to this week's program. We hope you've enjoyed it. Before we go, just a little reminder to log on to icc-cricket.yahoo.net for all the latest World Cup news and score updates throughout the 2011 ICC World Cup. For now, from me, Moushumi Dutt, and the rest here at ICC Cricket World, it's goodbye.